mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about whole numbers, more specifically how to find the least common multiple between two or more numbers. Before we get started, just know that we can abbreviate the least common multiple to LCM. Alright? So what is the least common multiple? It's the smallest multiple two or more numbers have in common. So for example, here I have multiples of 4 and 5. And if we go through our multiples, we notice that they both have 20 in common. Now, if we kept going, they would have other multiples in common. However, we're looking for the smallest multiple that they have in common. So although 4 and 5 have other common multiples, the LCM is 20. This is because 20 is the least common multiple. Alright? So let's do another example. So what is the least common multiple of 6 and 9? Before we begin, we have to list out multiples of 6 and then multiples of 9 and see what they have in common. So let's start off with 6. So we know that 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 times 6 is 36. So our multiples of 6 include 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and so on. Alright? So now let's do our multiples of 9. 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36, 9 times 5 is 45, and 9 times 6 is 54. So our multiples of 9 include 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54. Alright, so let's see what they have in common. So they both have 18, they both have 36, and if we kept going, there would be other common multiples. However, we're looking for the smallest multiple they have in common. So therefore, our least common multiple, our LCM, of 6 and 9 is 18, because although there are other common multiples, we are looking for the smallest, and that's 18. Alright? Let's do another example. So what is the least common multiple of 4, 6, and 8? So first we have to list out our multiples of 4. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, and 4 times 6 is 24. So our multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24, and just know that we could keep going if we wanted to. So now let's write some multiples of 6. So we have 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 times 6 is 36. So our multiples of 6 include 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and so on. Now let's do our multiples of 8. So we know that 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 times 6 is 48. So our multiples of 8 include 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so on. Alright? So let's circle what they have in common. So the LCM in this case is 24 because that's the smallest number that they have in common. If we kept going, they would have other common multiples, but this is the smallest one that they have in common, and therefore this is our LCM. Alright, now let's try an example in table form. So what is the least common multiple of 14 and 21? So let's make a table. So our multiples of 14 are 14, 28, 42, 56, and 70. Alright, so let's list out some for 21. We have 21, 42, 63, 84, and 105. And notice that they both have 42 in common. This is the first multiple that they have in common, and therefore this is our LCM. Alright? And be mindful that they have other multiples in common, however, we are looking for the smallest one. Finally, we have what is the least common multiple of 12, 15, and 20. So let's make a table. So our multiples of 12 are 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. Our multiples of 15 are 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. All right? And our multiples of 20 are 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. All right? So here we have our multiples of 12, 15, and 20, and notice that the one that they have in common is 60. All right? So our LCM is 60. All right? And that's how you find the least common multiple.